Hey guys, it's Sam here again. I'm doing another one of these like rant style videos just to cover some things that have been on my mind, especially with the recent events that's been going on, specifically like the UFO files and those things that have dropped, and kind of relating them back to Christianity. Obviously, in this video, I'm not trying to push religion onto anyone or just want to share some thoughts I've been having recently. Moreover, the thought I've been having that what if we are not God's only creation? It's something interesting I've been thinking of because I've been watching these the UFO file videos that just have been released. The one that caught my attention first was the like 6 pointed or 8 pointed star video. I don't really remember. I haven't watched it in a few days. But at first, I remember just looking at that and just thinking, dang, that looks so much like one of the thrones, like the angels with the wheels around and it's got all the eyes all over it. I thought it looked just like that. Obviously, I think that was debunked pretty much. Obviously, I mean, I just thought it looked like. I'm pretty sure it looked like that on the camera just because of all the heat that was around it. That was like a really hot jet engine or whatever, and a bunch of other ones that are just bull crap. But supposedly, people have been hyping up there's going to be more, and apparently there might be actual alien life. And something I've been thinking about is relating that back to Christianity. Obviously, humanity in that religion is was built in the image of God, supposedly. So, God has like four limbs, the like legs, arms, the head, and stuff like that. So, what happens if whatever aliens are out there are also built like that, with legs and arms? What would that imply? First off, I want to talk about just like from an evolutionary standpoint, like a theory like that. I guess it could make sense that maybe for intelligent life, this form, like with legs and arms and stuff like that, with like appendages like this, like my fingers. Obviously, we wouldn't have the same ancestors. Other planets wouldn't have primates like we are. So it would be interesting to see where they would have evolved from and how an evolutionary path could have coincided that would lead to intelligent life that also has like the same kind of limbs and stuff we have. I wonder if like being able to have like, for example, like with your thumb, how that helps you carry stuff and make tools. I wonder if that is a analog for developing intelligence. Same thing with like being able to run on two legs. Maybe that also helps with that. But then that would beg the question, like, why couldn't like an eight-legged creature like an octopus or be able to gain intelligence since they are one of the smartest creatures in the world? A Christian perspective, if we are made in God's image, then an alien were to like exist and we were able to make contact with them, and they were also made in God's image, then what would that imply? Personally, I've been thinking that maybe it would imply that we could be God's first creation, or they could be God's first creation. So I think it's interesting to think about maybe God gave up on them at one point and maybe switched to here, or God would have multiple civilizations going on the same point, which would be interesting because it would also imply that there's really like the realm we're in, like the universe, was created by God to house many civilizations at that standpoint. Based on the fact that like heaven and hell are in different dimensions or whatever, it would make sense that if God had a different creation, maybe it would be in a different universe. But I think that would kind of show a limit to God's power if we had multiple different creations from Him in one universe, because it shows that He kind of created this plane, and there's maybe like two different planes. There's the heavenly plane and then our plane. Showing a limit to God's power might show that He might be not as all powerful as it is said in the Bible, which is another thing I've been thinking about recently, seeing all the different books of the Bible that weren't included. It's interesting to think that the modern day Bible that we revere so heavily was just decided by a bunch of Romans in 300 years after Jesus died or whatever. So I'm wondering maybe if the Bible isn't necessarily telling the whole story. If we as God creations were also in the same universe as a different creation by God, what would have been His plan for us to meet? So, or would He have even planned for that at all? Obviously, one of main Christian beliefs is like God has a plan for everyone. So if there were aliens that we were able to make contact with, what would God's plan be for that? Especially if they were in His own image. Obviously, they were created by Him to look like Him, to worship Him. So I'm wondering, would God want us to be like nice to them? Obviously, probably that's what He would probably want. But obviously, we have free will, and humans are not very nice to invaders. So I wonder if He would know ultimately there would be a war between like different worlds. which honestly, now that I'm thinking about that right now, it almost kind of sounds like the scenario where, like the battle between heaven and hell. What if our side represents heaven and then like the alien side represents hell or something like that? I don't know. It's something I thought about. But honestly, this was kind of more just like a short video, just kind of thinking about that. It was more off the top of my head, but I appreciate you guys for watching if you did, and thank you.